Hi there, my friend. In this video, we'll explore the thrilling stories of famous stars currently serving life sentences. Let's uncover the dark truths behind these well-known figures and remind ourselves that no one is above the law. Leave a comment with the number 1 and let's get started right now. When Percy Master P. Miller began to achieve success with No Limit Records, he was determined to pull his brothers out of the violent life in the New Orleans projects. Master P brought his brothers, Corey, known as C Murder, and Vishon, also known as Silk the Shocker, into key roles within his growing roster of artists. Despite achieving gold records and rising fame, Corey Miller continued to face numerous troubles. In 2001, an incident involving Miller and a shooting outside a nightclub led to legal troubles, but that was just the tip of the iceberg. In January 2002, Miller was involved in another altercation at a New Orleans nightclub, where he fired a gun, unfortunately striking Steve Thomas in the chest. Thomas died at the scene, and Miller faced 2 trials. The 2003 trial resulted in a mandatory life sentence, but the conviction was overturned due to the prosecution's failure to disclose the criminal history of some witnesses. Miller was retried in 2009 and once again received a life sentence. In recent years, prominent activists, including Kim Kardashian, have called for a review of his case. However, in 2023, a federal judge upheld Miller's sentence, leaving his fate unchanged. According to a 2009 indictment, Diddy was accused of running a criminal organization that forced women into prolonged sexual acts. He allegedly used his influence, threats, and even drugs to manipulate and control his victims, all while trying to maintain a public image and conceal his actions. Diddy has pleaded not guilty to all charges, with his defense team claiming he is the target of an unfair prosecution and asserting his innocence. However, prosecutors presented troubling evidence, including the discovery of firearms and a large quantity of lubricants during raids on his home, along with allegations of abuse and coercion. If convicted on all charges, Diddy could face a prison sentence ranging from 15 years to life. He has been denied bail twice and is currently being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center, where he is under special supervision for his safety before trial. Harrison Norris Jr., known to wrestling fans as Hardbody Harrison, made a name for himself in WCW during the 90s. After his wrestling career, he gained further fame by winning the FX competition show Toughman in 2000. However, behind the scenes, his life took a troubling turn. Norris faced serious allegations of exploiting women, luring them to his home with promises of training for professional wrestling contracts. Instead, these women found themselves in difficult situations. Alarmingly, Norris allegedly forced them into illegal activities to pay off debts, using threats to maintain control. His actions escalated to the point where he transported several women across state lines, leading to federal charges under anti-trafficking laws. In November 2007, Norris was convicted and sentenced to life in prison, marking a dramatic fall from grace for a once promising figure in the wrestling world. Josh Duggar, once a prominent figure on TLC's 19 Kids and Counting, became embroiled in serious controversies that ultimately led to his arrest and imprisonment. His legal troubles began to surface in 2015 when allegations emerged regarding past misconduct involving several underage sisters and a family friend. Although these incidents occurred years earlier, they led to intense public scrutiny. and ultimately resulted in the cancellation of the family's reality show. In April 2021, Duggar faced federal charges related to the possession of illegal materials involving minors. He was charged with 2 counts, one for receiving such materials and the other for possession, with each count carrying a potential penalty of 20 years in prison. Investigators described the materials as particularly concerning. By December 2021, Duggar was convicted on both counts. In May 2022, he was sentenced to 12 years and 7 months in federal prison, with the judge indicating that he would not be eligible for parole. Additionally, he is required to undergo 20 years of supervised release after his sentence and must register as a sex offender. Throughout the legal proceedings, his wife, Anna, stood by his side, which is notably different from the experiences of many public figures in similar situations. Currently, he is serving his sentence at FCI Segoville in Texas and will be 48 years old when eligible for release. Skyler Julius Deleon, known for his role in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, became infamous for a shocking crime in California's history. In 2004, Deleon and accomplices were involved in the murder of retired couple Tom and Jackie Hawks, who were living on their yacht. The couple was selling their yacht to return home and be closer to family. The motive for the crime was believed to be financial, as Deleon aimed to seize the yacht. Charges included first-degree murder with special circumstances related to financial gain. In 2008, Deleon was convicted and sentenced to death. However, due to a moratorium on the death penalty in California, he is currently serving his sentence at San Quentin State Prison, one of the state's most notorious facilities. Kalin Rashad Walker, known for his role in Superfly, faced serious legal troubles when he was arrested in 2018 on multiple sexual assault charges. Prosecutors allege that Walker exploited his status as an entertainer to lure women, primarily models, by promising them enticing career opportunities. After gaining their trust, he would then assault them. According to reports, Walker often contacted victims through social media, offering professional photo shoots or other jobs in the entertainment industry as a facade. These assaults were alleged to have occurred over several years, starting in 2013. By the time of his arrest, more than a dozen women had accused him of sexual misconduct. In October 2022, Walker was convicted on multiple counts of forcible sexual assault and sentenced to 50 years to life in prison. Although he was found not guilty of charges related to 3 of the 10 victims, the jury determined that he used his influence and status to commit these brutal acts. His earliest possible release date is projected to be in the 2070s, meaning Walker is likely to spend the remainder of his life behind bars. Ryan Grantham, known for his roles in Riverdale and Diary of a Wimpy Kid, drew public attention in March 2020 when he was arrested for the murder of his mother, Barbara. At the age of 21, Grantham shot his 64-year-old mother while she was playing piano at their home in Squamish, British Columbia. After the incident, Grantham planned his next steps, intending to carry out more serious actions. He filled his car with firearms, ammunition, and other materials, planning to drive to Ottawa with increasingly alarming intentions. However, after a few hours on the road, he changed his mind and chose to turn himself in at a Vancouver police station, admitting to the murder of his mother. Grantham was charged with second-degree murder, a charge in Canada that carries a minimum life sentence. This offense involves intentional action without premeditation. During the trial, Issues related to Grantham's mental health were discussed, revealing that he had struggled with depression and violent conflicts prior to the incident. Evidence also indicated that he had rehearsed the act in the days leading up to it. In September 2022, Grantham was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 14 years, with an expected release date around 2036, when he will be approximately 38 or 39 years old. The judge acknowledged Grantham's youth and mental health challenges, but emphasized the seriousness of the crime and the potential risk he posed. Amy Locane, known for her role as Sandy Harling in Melrose Place, was involved in a tragic incident on June 27, 2010. While driving under the influence, Locane collided with another vehicle, exceeding the speed limit at 53 miles per hour in a 35-mile-per-hour zone. The crash resulted in the death of 60-year-old Helen Seaman and left her husband, Fred, with serious injuries. At the time of the accident, Locane's blood alcohol concentration was nearly 3 times the legal limit. Following the incident, she faced serious charges, including second-degree vehicular manslaughter and third-degree assault by vehicle. The legal proceedings extended over several years. In 2012, Locane was sentenced to 3 years in prison, a decision that sparked controversy and criticism for being perceived as too lenient given the circumstances. The judge cited her lack of prior convictions and her responsibility to her 2 young children as factors in his decision. However, the Seaman family and prosecutors argued that the sentence did not adequately reflect the seriousness of her actions, leading to multiple appeals and retrials. During this tumultuous time, Locane's husband filed for divorce and sought custody of their 2 daughters. In 2020, after navigating various legal challenges, Locane was retried and sentenced to 8 years in prison, with the requirement to serve at least 6 years and 10 months before being eligible for parole. She is currently incarcerated at the Edna Mahan Correctional Facility for Women and has recently lost an appeal for a reduced sentence. Harvey Weinstein was once one of the most powerful and successful film producers in history, with a portfolio that includes classics like Pulp Fiction, Scream, and Gangs of New York. However, his power in Hollywood collapsed when allegations of misconduct began to surface in October 2017. In a statement, he acknowledged causing pain and expressed regret, but it was too late to salvage his reputation. At this time, the Me Too movement was gaining momentum, and with this cultural shift, many women began to share their own stories of abuse, including prominent actresses like Salma Hayek, Rose McGowan, and Ashley Judd. Judd recalled, "I fought off a series of punches that he ignored. Perhaps he heard them as consent." In just a few months, Weinstein faced serious consequences. He was banned for life from the Producers Guild of America and ousted from the board of his own company. Ultimately, he was indicted in New York and in 2020 was convicted of third-degree rape, receiving a sentence of 23 years in prison. In 2022, he faced similar charges in California, resulting in an additional 16 years behind bars. Meanwhile, his conviction in New York was overturned in 2024. As of now, at 72 years old, he is expected to remain in prison for life, serving as a stark reminder of the repercussions of his actions. The show Welcome to Sweetie Pies made a significant impact on viewers over its 9 seasons from 2011 to 2018, following Robbie Montgomery, a backup singer who had worked with Ike and Tina Turner, as she transitioned into a successful soul food restaurant owner. However, just a few years before the show ended, Tragedy struck when Montgomery's 21-year-old grandson, Andre Montgomery Jr., was shot and killed in St. Louis. The truth behind this tragedy was even more shocking. In 2020, Tim Norman, Montgomery's son and a cast member of the show, was arrested and charged with murder for allegedly hiring someone to kill Andre. The motive was staggering. Norman had taken out a life insurance policy on his grandson, promising to pay the hitman nearly $500,000 if Andre died. During the 2023 trial, evidence from phone records and testimony from Norman's accomplices painted a clear picture that led to his conviction. Ultimately, he was sentenced to life in prison, marking a dramatic fall for a once-beloved television personality. Joe's son, known for his role as Random Task in Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery, is currently serving a life sentence due to serious criminal charges. Before entering the acting world, he was an MMA fighter with a record of 0 wins and 4 losses. However, his notoriety would soon stem from a horrific crime that occurred many years prior. On Christmas night in 1990, son and an accomplice were involved in the kidnapping and assault of a woman in Huntington Beach, California. The incident was violent and left the victim deeply traumatized, as she endured severe humiliation before being released. Despite the gravity of the crime, son evaded justice for nearly 2 decades. It wasn't until 2008 that Son was arrested for unrelated charges, and his DNA was entered into the national database, leading to a match in the cold case. Finally, the victim, who had lived in fear and uncertainty for many years, had the opportunity to seek justice. In 2008, Son faced multiple criminal charges, including kidnapping and torture. Due to the statute of limitations on some charges, he couldn't be tried for all of them, but he was ultimately convicted of torture in 2011, receiving a sentence ranging from 7 years to life. While serving his sentence, Son was also implicated in another violent incident that resulted in the death of a fellow inmate, a sex offender, leading to a voluntary manslaughter conviction in 2017, which added 27 years to his sentence. He is currently serving a total of 34 years to life in prison. Shannon Richardson, known for her roles in The Walking Dead and The Vampire Diaries, became involved in a shocking crime in 2013. In a bizarre turn of events, she sent letters containing the toxic substance ricin to President Barack Obama, New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg, and Mark Glaze, the director of Mayors Against Illegal Guns. Ricin, derived from castor beans, poses a serious threat to the recipients. Amid a tumultuous marriage to her husband, Nathan Richardson, Shannon attempted to frame him by planting evidence. However, a swift investigation revealed that she was the one behind the incident. The FBI arrested her in June 2013 after she confessed to producing and sending the toxic letters from her home in Texas. She was charged with 3 counts of threatening the president, 2 counts of sending threatening letters, and 1 count of producing and possessing a biological weapon. Richardson's trial unveiled a troubling narrative in which she argued that her actions stemmed from emotional stress related to her difficult marriage and pregnancy. However, the court deemed her actions intentional and extremely reckless. In July 2014, Shannon Richardson was sentenced to 18 years in federal prison after pleading guilty to possessing and producing a biological agent. She was also ordered to pay $367,400 to cover the government's investigation costs, including the expenses related to handling the contaminated letters. She is currently incarcerated at the Federal Medical Center Carswell in Texas, with a projected release date around 2032. Young-soo, known for his role in Squid Game, became the center of a serious legal scandal following the show's global success in 2021. He was accused of sexual assault by a woman who claimed he had inappropriately touched her during a meeting in 2017. Although the incident was reported and a formal complaint was filed in 2021, the police initially declined to investigate due to a lack of evidence. The case was reopened in 2022 when new attention emerged. Young-soo denied the allegations, asserting that he only touched the woman's hand briefly and that it was not sexual in nature. He expressed regret if his actions were misunderstood, but remained firm in his innocence. At the end of 2022, South Korean prosecutors officially charged Young-soo with the crime of non-consensual sexual assault, a charge under South Korean law related to sexual acts that occur without consent but are not severe enough to be classified as forcible assault. These allegations sparked significant backlash, leading the Ministry of Culture, Sports, and Tourism of South Korea to suspend an advertising campaign featuring him. The international community was taken aback, as Young-soo, who had been praised for his humility and wisdom following the success of Squid Game and his win at the Golden Globe Awards, was now embroiled in scandal. In March 2024, he was sentenced to 8 months in jail, but the sentence was suspended for 2 years, and he was required to undergo 40 hours of treatment for sexual violence. Danny Masterson, best known for his iconic role as Stephen Hyde on the beloved sitcom That 70s Show, which aired from 1998 to 2006, saw his fame overshadowed by serious allegations of criminal behavior during the height of his career, from 2001 to 2003. Masterson was accused of drugging and sexually assaulting 2 women at his home. In 2017, multiple women came forward with accusations against him, leading to an investigation that resulted in Masterson being dropped from Netflix's series The Ranch. While some cases were dismissed, 2 incidents moved forward, culminating in an 8-month-long trial. Emotional testimonies from the victims highlighted the profound impact of Masterson's actions, leading to his conviction on 2 counts of rape in May 2023. Just over 3 months later, he was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison and began serving his sentence at North Kern State Prison in Delano, California on December 27, 2023, marking a stunning downfall for the once-beloved actor. Oscar Pistorius was once regarded as one of the most inspiring athletes in the world. After losing both of his legs at a young age, the South African sprinter overcame tremendous challenges to become a renowned competitor. He made history by competing in both the Paralympic and Olympic Games, demonstrating that physical limitations do not define a person's potential. However, his legacy took a tragic turn when he was involved in a high-profile murder case that changed public perception forever. However, in the early hours of Valentine's Day 2013, Pistorius's heroic story took a dark and tragic turn. That morning, he shot and killed his girlfriend, Riva Steenkamp, a well-known model, through the bathroom door in his home. Pistorius claimed he mistook her for an intruder, but authorities questioned his story due to signs of tension in their relationship in the months leading up to the shooting. In October 2014, Pistorius was convicted of culpable homicide and sentenced to 5 years in prison. However, his early release less than a year later for good behavior sparked widespread outrage, leading to calls for a harsher sentence. By November 2015, the original conviction for culpable homicide was overturned, and Pistorius was found guilty of murder. His sentence was increased to 6 years, a decision many considered too lenient given the severity of the crime. Prosecutors subsequently pressed for an extended sentence, arguing that justice for Steenkamp had still not been fully served. Thank you for watching today's video. We hope the stories shared have helped you understand more about the famous stars currently serving life sentences. Remember, love and acceptance are always important. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss any exciting content in the future. We'll see you in the next video.